I'd like to welcome everybody to our July meeting. And as has been the case, we're on Zoom again, and we're probably going to be for a while. It's not been the best of news in the state of Michigan, and numbers are ticking up again. And if people just don't take this new law seriously, we could end up back in phase 3, which is going to be devastating. But we're going to do what we keep doing, and we're going to stay in our shops and social distance and meet once a month on Zoom and do what we can. So I appreciate everybody's patience with this. I don't like this. I would rather be face-to-face with you all because I miss you guys. So we have no guests today because this is a members only. Is Matthew Valentine online?
He was.
Yep, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, Matthew, I just wanted to say welcome to the club.
Oh,
He's
thanks.
a brand new member as of a couple of days ago. So
thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, just a reminder, Steve Rohr is our mentor, and if you've got questions or need some help with anything, or are new to turning like Matthew and need some help moving forward, Steve's the guy, and he can set up a Zoom meeting with you, shop to shop.
Or if you want some popcorn, you can come to my shop.
There you go. He offers popcorn. I don't do that in my shop. So yeah, take advantage of him. He's a great guy, really knows his stuff. So July 25th, next Saturday, is going to be our next workshop. Matt Harber is going to host it for us. And questions come up, what would you like to see? Matt's thinking mushrooms. He was also thinking a small box, but we're essentially doing that today in the demo with Harvey. So if there's anything specific you want to see, let me or Matt know, either by mail or by text or whatever, and we'll see what we can do about it. It's going to be from 10 to 12 o'clock, and you should be at your lathe turning, just like if you were in our shop at PCAC. I know some of you can't do that. You're still welcome. So.
Even if it's something I haven't done, I'm happy to demonstrate.
Yeah, I'm sure Matt can handle it. Yeah. So we're looking for volunteers to run workshops on August 22nd, September 26th, and October 24th. We'd like to see some new faces doing it. It's not hard. All you need is a cell phone, and we can even set up ahead of time with you so you can practice and get it down and make it easier for you. So please seriously think about it. And let me know if you've got questions or if you're thinking about doing that. We would greatly appreciate it. Our August demo is going to be Ian Frederick, our youngest member, I think, still. So he'll be handling that. Cindy Yates will be doing a demo in September at our meeting. In October will be Matt Harber again doing a demo for us. None of these we've figured out what we're going to do yet, but we'll do that as we're going along.
Hey, Jeff?
Yes.
Sorry about the air compressor in the background. You had said that you thought that the thing I do about how to orient the natural edge bowls and vases would be make a good demo. So that was the one I was planning on doing. But I'm more than welcome to change that before October. So.
No, I think that would be great.
Okay.
Because nobody else is doing it. So. So I think that would be a great one. That would help me a lot too.
I'm doing the mason jar lids in September.
Okay. Okay, and I don't know what Ian's doing. I know it's not the magic wand. He's doing something else. Because he's already done a workshop with us on that. But it'll be fun to see. Going through my notes here and stuff, because I wanted to cover 30 minutes before Harvey gets started. One thing I do want to talk about, I want to give Cindy a great big thank you. We talked about it at our board meeting earlier this week, but what we found is our membership list is kind of a mess. And I think that just comes from years of being handed off. And when we put together this program for today and decided to make it members only, it came to light that there was a lot of us members that weren't showing up as members because the club, for whatever reason, didn't receive a check or whatever. I was one of them. Mark Wallace was another one. Matt Harber was one. So, Cindy's been scrambling to get that figured out, and she has just gone through the list and has been putting a lot of time into it. We're going back 2 years of old members on the list who haven't rejoined, and we're sending them a letter welcoming them back to the club if they would like to rejoin. And if they don't, then they're going to be scrubbed and moved into another list elsewhere, so there's no more mix-ups on who's who. And our list will be active members only. So thank you, Cindy. You're doing an excellent job.
Thanks.
So I just wanted to open it up. We've got about 20 minutes before Harvey starts. I want to open up to any questions anybody's got about anything going on with the club or that. Just make sure you unmute. Excuse me. Drop my pencil.
Because of the problems we had not knowing people's correct names, next time we have a meeting, we should send out, when we send the notification that there's going to be a meeting, that people should put their correct names down, and that they should look at the chat when they get into the waiting room.
Well, I agree. And, for this particular meeting, I failed to get that on the invite. And that was a mistake on my part, because we have been actively asking people to do that. And it's been actively a problem. So we'll just keep doing that. We'll just keep on people until they get it right. Because just because they're on our membership list with their name doesn't mean their Zoom account's going to have their name on it. For varying different reasons. Like we have a person here today who's using his wife's account. And you don't think about it when you log in.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay. So I realize that all of you are great wood turners and you already know how to sharpen. Is that something that we could visit, is sharpening?
I think that would be a very good one. I've mentioned this on the board meeting. I would like to see a demo on sharpening. I would also like to see another demo. We did this a couple years ago on finishing. Not so much the ornate finishing, like metal flake and stuff like that, but basic finishing. I think that's a very confusing subject for a lot of turners. And you ask 10 turners, you're going to get 10 different ideas of what's a perfect finish.
And then I have a question in regards to, maybe we could look at how to change your bevel from like a 35 to a 45. How to do that?
That could be something. That could be something in the demo. A lot of it's going to be contingent on time frames, and some of it's going to be contingent on the fact that everybody's got kind of a different way of sharpening too. Some people do it freehand. Some people
the sharpening, the best place to start is the AAW videos on sharpening.
Okay.
It's simple, it works, it's time proven, and you don't get into all the different people and their opinions.
Okay, that's very good. It's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Thank you.
I've got one that would be kind of cool to see, at least for me being a gearhead type guy. It'd be cool, like if every one of these meetings, like someone would do like a tour of their shop, just to kind of show their layout and their, just like you got your tools all organized behind you. It'd be kind of cool to, at least I think so, just to see people's shops and their environment.
Yeah, we were doing that for a while on Facebook. A lot of people were, I did one, and then I did one, and then some other folks came in and did one. It was interesting to see all the different layouts of shops and what happens to shops after years of using them.
Right.
So,
yeah. Just
yeah, I would like to see more of that on our Facebook page. That would be great. So.
Yeah, I think my video is still up there on the Facebook page.
Yeah, you probably just have to scroll down a bit.
Yeah, it was shortly after the quarantines went in.
Yeah. So, maybe some of those, if people are okay with it, I'll copy them off of Facebook and put them out on our YouTube channel.
What's our YouTube channel address?
If you go to YouTube, hit the search bar and just type in Detroit area woodturners, it'll take you to that and a whole bunch of other things that mention Detroit or woodturners. But you'll see our emblem, our DAW emblem, and that's our channel.
I'll put
Thank
the
you.
I'll
Is
put
there
the
a
link in
YouTube
the
page
group
on
chat.
we should put a link in our Facebook, and we should put a link on our website to it.
Yep, I'll put the link in the group chat too here in a minute.
Okay, we do have a link on our Facebook homepage. It's up in the upper left-hand corner, I believe.
There's also one on the website.
Oh, that's what I meant to say, the website. Facebook, I'm not sure how to do that. I'll have to take a look at that.
Goes into the About section.
The About section? Okay. Now, I didn't set up the Facebook, so I may not have administrative rights on it either. So, and I don't know who would have that.
Ben Shipman does.
Ben Shipman? Okay. I'll be talking to you, Ben. So, and what we're going to do today is I'm kind of saving all our normal stuff till after Harvey's demo, and then we'll do the tool review, the Facebook postings challenge, and the President's Challenge, and the show and tell. So it's going to kind of be out of order today, but change is good, right?
Absolutely.
Jeff, what
Yes,
is the
can be
name
good.
of that? What is the name of that nut? The one with the holes in it. That's big. It's long and big. It's oblong.
Banksia?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Could we have a class on that? On maybe making a vessel out of that?
That'd kind of be hard to do because that thing is very toxic. You really, it's not breathable friendly.
Oh, is it?
Look up Cindy Drozd. Look up Cindy Drozd. She's the one that mastered that Banksia nut.
There's a, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Envy Woodworks out in Nevada. Zach Higgins. He's doing fake Banksia pods now. He's making out of acrylic. Any other questions or anything? We've got about 15 minutes to go yet before we start Harvey.
I am going to admit Rose and try to figure out who it is. Because
Okay.
they're not responding to chats.
Yeah, I don't have any Rose on our
Yeah, I don't
Rose as a
recognize
first
that either.
name. Yeah.
They're connecting to audio, so hold on.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately, and the name that comes up is Segmented Wood Turner. Dennis has got a lot of nice things up there.
Yeah.
And he's posted some of them since the start of the pandemic.
Hi, Rose. Whoever is in as Rose, we need your first and last name typed in because we don't have you on our membership, any Rose on our membership list. If you could let us know who you are in the next minute or so, or we're going to have to move you back to the waiting room.
Did you see one of his early videos where he has the segmented piece on a turntable and line it up?
Yes.
You know, finding attention to detail. That's the old machinist in him, you know. It was amazing watching that. You know, if I'm within my glue mark, I'm a happy camper.
Well, I just recently, I saw one that he did where he put a piece of tape on a piece of wood and made a spacer with an angle to correct some of your angle mismatches. It was very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question in regards to sharpening systems. I've been reading about the Wolverine, and here's another one. It's called the Woodcut Tools True Grind Turning Tool Sharpener. So, is there a sharpening get-up that's advisable? I mean, the wood.
I I use the True Grind. The Wolverine is probably more widely used.
Yeah.
They are both very similar in the way they work. I love my True Grind, but it's very easy for me to use a Wolverine because they're so similar.
Yeah. And there's also the new Kodiak system out there, which is kind of like the Wolverine, but it's more of a captured tool that cuts you the exact same angle every single time. That's from Woodturner's Wonders. But I've got a Wolverine. I've been using the Wolverine since I started turning back when it was just pens. And I feel very comfortable with it. And I feel very comfortable with it, recommending it to people.
I also use the Wolverine, but lately, for a 40/40 grind, Ron Brown's got this jig that goes on a Wolverine for a 40/40 grind.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
How
I've
does
used
the
that
True
as well.
Grind-
It works quite well.
How does the True Grind compare to the Wolverine as far as positives or negatives?
I don't know. You can get the whole Wolverine system for $90 on Amazon. So, and it's the same system. I just had to buy one because I rigged up my 8-inch slow speed grinder on a bench finally, and I had bought one about 15 years ago, Wolverine system, and they're identical. So that's one thing going forward too. If you buy one later, the parts are all interchangeable. They don't change it at all.
Right.
So are most of them using the Rikon?
It doesn't matter what brand grinder you use. You just want a slow speed grinder. I've got the generic Woodcraft, and CBN wheels are the best way to go. But if you can't afford CBN wheels, then you can use a standard.
I'm still grinding with my True Grind on the small Harber Freight grinder I bought when I first started turning, 15, 20 years ago.
Generally, you want to stick with a 8-inch wheel because it gives you a good radius. As you do hollow grinding, a 6-inch wheel is a little bit small radius.
Yeah, it gives you more of a radius.
6-inch
right.
wheel also is, you get more surface feet per minute because of the revolutions. So with or you get less with a 6-inch, and
Right.
you get more surface feet with an 8-inch. So if you get a slow speed grinder, you want an 8-inch wheel. If you don't get a slow speed grinder, a 6-inch wheel would work.
See, that's all the differences, because to me, it doesn't make much difference speed-wise. It's all high-speed steel. And the radius, to me, is more important than the amount of metal that you take off.
So the Kodiak, it looks really good, but it's very expensive with the CBN wheels. What's your opinion about that?
Well, I've never used the Kodiak. I've seen it in action down in the Ohio Symposium, and it looks like a nice system. And they also make parts if you want to adapt the Kodiak to a Wolverine. But I'm happy with my Wolverine. I don't see any need to change out. And the Wolverine was very economical to get into, as it was already stated. It was,
I would agree with Jeff. The Wolverine is a good place to start. Almost everybody at least starts with it. They may grow into something else, like Matt said, but almost everybody starts with a Wolverine. Any school you go to, they will use Wolverines.
If you start with the Wolverine, then you can buy the Rapture, angle things from Craft Supply. And I find that because I end up, let's say, grinding other things or making other tools, I like to stay with the standard grinding wheel so that I don't contaminate the CBN wheel.
I think the key point is that none of these systems will make you a professional sharpener. You're going to have to practice with any one of them that you get.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's a matter of a combination of the grinder, the proper wheel, the dressing that you put on the wheel, how well you prepare the wheel before you even start the grind, how much pressure you put on the tool. All this is something that you're going to have to practice with on the system that you get. So if you get one and you're frustrated, it's because you haven't learned yet. It's not the system.
I need a class. I need a workshop.
No,
That
you
just
have to-
proves it.
It's practice,
Albert
practice,
ran,
practice.
Albert ran
Practice,
some,
practice.
Albert ran some Saturday morning things back when, and Albert was very, very, very helpful. And as far as the grinding wheel or the grinder, for my home, I purchased the variable speed 8-inch Delta at, I think, Home Depot or Lowe's. And at the time I paid, I think, $129. And it's worked very well. And I've been able to use it for any grinding needs that I have.
There's one interesting quick story about grinders. Certainly everyone, I think, will agree that Baldor is the best unit out there. But there's a machinist I watch religiously on YouTube. He goes by the name of A-Bomb79, and he's a professional machinist. And he got a Baldor grinder, and he did a whole segment on, he was frustrated with it. And it turned out that the wheel clamps and shoulders that were on the Baldor grinder was from the factory, machined incorrectly, and that would make the wheel wobble. And he went ahead and made his own washers and such and got it perfectly aligned, and then the Baldor motor was fine. So it doesn't matter what unit you have, it's got to be set up properly, and you got to check it before you even start.
The biggest thing that I learned was to not get the inexpensive like a Harbor Freight, because the motor doesn't have enough torque to get you up to speed. So you need to get a decent brand grinder like a Jet or a Delta. Forget Harbor Freight. I personally have a Jet commercial. It's an 8-inch wheel. It's balanced perfectly, but it costs $200+. So
How does the Rikon compare?
you're asking, no. You're asking all of these different brands, stick with it with a little bit more major. Don't worry about the dollars.
What's a major brand then?
Delta, Jet, Rikon is not that bad, but don't think that because you're spending $50 less that you're going to get the same grinder if you pay $50 more.
Yeah.
So Rikon is inferior?
No, I did not say that.
Oh,
I just said that you're going to get what you pay for. Why do you select a Rikon?
because I saw it advertised.
You can talk quiet.
I saw it advertised with the Kodiak.
And he's also a distributor for Rikon.
Yeah, that's why.
He sells those. So that's
I
why
can't
he's got
speak
that.
for the Rikon because I don't have one, but and it's like the Kodiak again. If you want to go get off-brand, I call that an off-brand. If you want to get the non-mainstream, which really is the Wolverine, that's the 90% of all new turners use a Wolverine. They may buy other attachments like the true grind for the variable. You know, there are a lot of other attachments, but you get started with the basic tool, and you just keep it simple.
And
I
I
got
have a
what?
Rikon grinder, and I have no problem with my
I have a Rikon
whatsoever.
too. I have a Rikon too,
Mine
and
works wonderfully.
mine does too. And Rockler sells them, and Rockler's pretty reputable. So,
I think it all boils down to get the best you can afford.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the answer.
Guys,
So what's the now? Do you want a 1 horsepower or a half horsepower?
One.
One.
I have the Woodcraft half horse and I have the Rikon 1 horse, and there is a significant difference in the two. The 1 horse starts as slow start, it starts nicer, it spins smoother, it's quieter. It's so much nicer than the
Right.
and there's nothing wrong with the Woodcraft one I have. I just have 2 grinders and about to get a third. So
Yeah. Sandy?
Thank you.
Sandy?
Everybody. Yes.
I'm going to look up and send you a couple YouTube videos on setting up the Wolverine. Somebody out there really made a good video on setting up the Wolverine because the instructions, somebody out there is the best. And
Okay.
so I'll find that and I'll send that over to you.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Okay.
And remember the AAW videos on sharpening.
Yes, definitely.
It's called AAW
The
Videos.
American Association of Woodturners. Are you a member?
No, I'm a Detroit area member.
Okay, you need to join the American Association of Woodturners.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Go to their site and register and pay the dues.
Okay.
We're actually a chapter of them.
Yeah.
And but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it just for the library alone, the videos and stuff like that. There's also a members forum on there where you can talk to people and things like that. It's a very good website.
Thank
Very
you
good
so
order.
much.
Mhm.
So I go to YouTube, and I'm not very techy, so just bear with me. YouTube, and then AAW Videos.
No, your browser.
Go to Google.
Go to
Yeah,
Google and type in
in
American Association of Woodturners. And it'll send you right
Okay,
in.
thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to throw out one other thing. If you're learning to sharpen, don't go out and buy those real expensive gouges to learn to sharpen. Learn to sharpen on cheap gouges, then buy your good ones.
Yeah, mine was a Harber freight set. Which
Yeah, or,
had a bowl gouge in it, so I bought a Benjamin's Best bowl gouge, and that's how I learned from that.
Yep, buy Benjamin Best or buy something off of eBay or anything that's less expensive. Get your act together with sharpening, and then buy your high-end, $150 a piece bowl gouges.
Yeah.
Sounds like good advice.
There's actually a lot of craftsman wood turning gouges and stuff out on Craigslist and eBay, pretty cheap.
Is Craftsman real inferior?
They're not the best. I mean, if
They're
you're
not
just
the
getting
best.
started, a lot of people started with those in craftsman
They're
too. Like,
usable.
I have
they're usable.
gone.
You just sharpen them a lot. They don't hold an edge a long time.
What's the brand name of a tool that holds its edge well?
Well, here's one right here.
Start with
this is a-
Sorby.
Yeah, Sorby.
Sorby or Crown?
Sorby's a good one.
Yep, Sorby's good. Pinnacle is a good one. This is a cryogenically treated, and this holds an edge forever. I've had this for 10 years.
What's that one called?
Pinnacle. It's available at Woodcraft.
Or Crown.
I'm also using Hurricane brand. I really like these, and they do a pretty good job. They're the equivalent of Benjamin's Best or anything like that. And they come from Steve Fogoli in New Jersey. So,
I picked up a couple of sets of turning tools at estate sales. I picked up the entire set for like $10, including the box.
I bet you skipped out of there.
The thing is, I passed up just as many as I bought.
Yeah.
And literally, some of them, I think one was a fairly decent size or a decent brand, but literally the beginner sets are, you can pick them up pretty cheap for somebody that's been turning anyways.
Yeah.
When you start buying used sets, be careful if you go and buy that CBN wheel that don't start sharpening regular carbon steel, because you'll screw up your CBN wheel.
How do you know if it's a carbon steel?
You should not have a tool that is not high-speed steel.
Yeah. And it'll say
How do you know?
It'll say on it. It'll say HSS or high speed steel, or it'll say M2 or something like that.
Jeff, it's 2:00.
Yes, I was just getting ready to cut everybody off. So everybody, let's mute the microphones. A very quick thank you to John Dizelle, who's with us today. He's the one who made all the arrangements with Harvey to get him here today. You did a great job, John. Appreciate it. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to Harvey. That's not me.
Yes, it is.
That's not me either. Here I am. Oh.
Hold on, El Presidente.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, moving on, we're going to do the stuff that we normally do every single month. We're going to start out with a tool review, and I understand 2 people out there got tools they want to highlight. So who would like to be the first?
My camera on? I could do it if my camera was on. Okay. Can you see me?
No. Got to highlight you again.
Okay.
There you are.
All right. So I can't see. Can you see what I'm holding up?
Yes, it's a
Okay,
black,
so this
black
is, for those of you who did Steve's demo, watched Steve last month, this is a 120-degree gauge. So it's got the 120-degree markings on here, so you don't have to play with a compass. You just make a center point, stick it on there, and you can draw your 120-degree lines. And it also has, I don't know how far apart these are, the little holes, but those holes you can spin around, you know, the little nail that goes in there. You get your 120 degrees without having to grab a compass every time. So,
Chuck,
Cool.
what do you need the 120 degrees for?
when you do the off-center turning from Steve's demo last month,
Okay.
you want to have 3 spots. So this is really quick. I'll post a link in the chat for where it's from Thingiverse. This was actually in the AAW magazine, but they didn't have a link to it. And the more I searched he said it was in Thingiverse. I searched the name and couldn't find it. So finally, I had to email Brian Harias, who was in the AAW last month, and he sent me the link to it. So, yep, and my neighbor has a 3D printer. I won't say that it's his work printer, but it is, because he's a 3D engineer. He does engineering, and he has a 3D printer at home right now, this big monster thing. It's like the size of a workbench. So it took him like 4 minutes to print this for me.
Yeah, Chuck, what I do on mine is I've got a piece of plexiglass. I've got a 3-way, a 4-way, a 5-way, a 6-way, and an 8-way. And you just draw them on a piece of plexiglass one time and you're good to go. The other thing you can use is just a piece of heavy Mylar that all works well. If you can't find Mylar, next time you go to the grocery store and you get anything that comes in a plastic container, there's your Mylar.
Yep. So, yep, I put the link in the chat if anyone wants to grab it. And if you've got a 3D printer, you can also, in Thingiverse and another website, you can just take the image and load it, and they will print it for you and mail it to you. I've done that with some other cool stuff, and it's fairly inexpensive. So, yeah. But my neighbor did this for me. He only made me one. I asked for a few, but I was going to give one away today, but he didn't do it. So that's it.
Okay. There was somebody else who wanted to do a tool review. If not, I'll go next. Okay, let's come back to me. There we are. Okay, what I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if any of you use this or not, but I have got Axe abrasive sanding polish and Axe polishing and restoring paste. I won this from Axe. They have a Sunday drawing, and I actually won this. And I just think it's wonderful stuff. The cool thing with this is, I've used the other brands, and I'm not going to mention brand names because I don't want to get into legalities or anything like that. But Tom sells these together, and the 2 together with shipping will cost you the same price as buying 1 item from the other companies. So these 2 cost me as much as my polish that I got from another company, and it works as well. Puts a nice finish on. It's absolutely wonderful. It's something I'll be sticking with for quite some time. He advertises quality without the price, and he's right about that. So if you're interested in that, just Google Axe, ACK''S, wood turning paste, and I'll take you right to his site, and that's all he sells. He doesn't have anything else. He is working on a shine juice that's going to be 100% food safe, because he doesn't believe any of the shine juices that are out there now are. And so we'll watch and see what he does with that. But if you want to give that a try, it's $28 and another $8 for shipping. And I'm sure you'll like it. I'm going to be during show and tell, showing a couple bowls, and they have been finished with this. So, anybody else? Okay.
Unmute yourself to speak if anybody's got anything to say.
Okay, then we're going to move on to the Facebook challenge. We had 27 people this month, which is great. And I'm glad you guys are taking the time to do this because this site is important. And it's part of the club. It's how we share. So especially during these times when we can't get together. So we're going to draw at random a person, and we have 27 people. I got my randomizer set up for 1 to 27. And I'm going to hit the button. 21. 21 is Julian Gonzalez has won a craft supply certificate. I'm not sure if you're with us today, Julian, but congratulations, and I'll get that off to you. The next one we're doing is the President's Challenge, and we have 7 people this month who posted off-center turnings based on last month's demo. And I'm going to change the randomizer right now to 7. And there we go. 5 is the winner, and that is Henry Morgan. Henry Morgan, you won a craft supply certificate. So congratulations to both parties.
Thank you.
And of course, our President's Challenge for next month will be a pedestal box. So. Okay, we are at show and tell time. Anybody bring anything to show off? I know you've been locked in your shop turning, so.
I have something.
Okay.
This is not a completed thing. This is
hold on, let's screen. There you are.
I had a piece of box elder burl, which I put some resin into, thinking I was going to make a dragon's egg. But actually, some of the most beautiful part of it is like way down at the bottom. And so I don't really want to take that off and make an egg out of it. It's not quite shiny. It's not quite finished. It's pretty shiny, but not as much as I want to. This was with excess resin, because not knowing what I was doing, I had resin everywhere. And Mike's like, show him the resin. And then I have a tenon on the top, a tenon that I'm working to cut this off of, and I have a tenon, so I have a tenon on the bottom. So what I've got is a 5-piece block that's approximately 3 inches in diameter, and I just don't know what to do with it because I'm a little afraid that the resin might be kind of fragile. So it's like kind of funny to turn. It's hard, really hard. I don't know what to make out of with this shape. I do not know what to make.
What resin did you use?
The problem was I had 3 different kinds of resin that people had given me, all 3 different kinds, and I mixed them all up. And I put one in and it wasn't enough, so I quickly mixed another one and put it in and it wasn't enough. And I quickly mixed another one and it wasn't enough. And I think I didn't put hardener in the last one or something. And so it took like months to harden.
Wow.
As far as I know, it's still liquid on the inside. So typical. I got a mess here, but to me, it's a beautiful piece if I could just figure out what to do with it.
Well, you know what? I would suggest, since you're unsure of it, and you could even be liquid on the inside, I would #1 suggest make sure your face shield's on.
Oh yeah.
And #2, keep it simple. Make it a simple vase or something, you know.
Or your lidded box from the.
Or a lidded box. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I do a lidded box, can I use a different piece of box elder to make the lid?
Sure.
You can do whatever you want.
You could use whatever you want. Yeah.
I ended up with this little dig out, you see? Yeah. And I hate to cut it down and lose what I've got. I don't know what to do.
Rule #1, Kathy, is there's always more wood. There's always more.
There's always more wood.
Yeah. if you screw it up, you screw it up, and there's more wood. So
Yeah.
you know, just
Okay.
make
Because
it
I've been
work.
sitting on this for months. I mean, not playing with it now and then, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go finish it, and then.
Yeah.
But and then my next question is this a good polish to finish it up with?
Oh, sure.
Yes, it is.
I have been using that for 10 years now.
Yep.
It's my favorite. It's my
Okay.
Yeah,
absolute
very
favorite.
good. Very good stuff for acrylic. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Uh,
But I'm thinking a box, base, pencil.
I would say a box, lidded box, open box, maybe a little vase of some sort. Get a little practice in with howling. I would say, and this has been my experience because I'm experimenting with resin too, just not to that extent, is just very light cuts.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
what kind of resin is it?
I don't remember the brand names. It's the stuff you get at Joann's.
Heinz variety.
Heinz variety. I don't know. I had one that I had bought like 20 years ago. I bought one that I got with the gift certificate to Joann's, and then one that I got somewhere else. There were 3 that were free to me, but I didn't realize how much I was going to need. Well,
Yeah.
the problem was I need so much because I didn't take into account the fact that this thing was going to float up to the top. And I didn't have a pressure pot, so it's a question of like, are there bubbles in there? I don't know. And it got foamy on the top, and everybody in the household was sticking to each other. Me, the dog, the cat, everybody.
If it's an epoxy, some of them take a long time to cure.
It was
and
epoxy.
That might be the issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And the one you said you had for 20 years is probably past its shelf life.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Most epoxies are good for like 6 months.
Oh, and
We're a
I
happy goalie,
put
man.
some coloring in it.
Yeah. So that's my advice. Just keep it simple and light cuts and wear a face mask. And
Yeah.
I'll bet you come up with something very nice.
Hey, Jeff.
I thought we were gonna make a leaf pot out of it.
Nah. Maybe
The-
a pencil holder.
The other thing that I found with the resin is the negative rake scrapers seem to be fantastic for getting a good surface without getting any chip out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Resin is the reason I went to a negative rake scraper, and I just took 2 scrapers that I had already and made them negative rake.
Oh.
And I don't think I'll ever use a regular scraper again. I don't know.
Kathy, another option would be to go with a carbide tool. I'm not a big fan of carbide tools, but on resins, they work well.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I'll
at
try that.
a 45-degree angle. So you're doing a shear cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love the carbides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
carbides
way
work
better on
great.
resins.
Just slow down your speed and don't push real hard.
Yeah.
The lighter you're lighter with your tool on your carbide, it'll just shear the stuff off. If you get too aggressive with it, you'll get chip out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Cindy. Thank you, everybody. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
Okay, Cindy. Let's find her. Hold on, let's find you.
We don't see your picture anymore.
Oh, wait a minute. Video. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, when did they even let me highlight you?
Oh, hang on a minute. You have me? Whoop. Video.
This is your video. Oh, your video's on now.
All right. You got me now?
Spotlight. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it took me off because I didn't want you to watch me eating and munching.
Yeah, you didn't bring enough for everybody, did you?
No. Anyway, this is a segmented bowl I did.
Nice.
Yeah, this is my second one I've made. But it's fun. I like it. So I like doing segment. It's just time consuming. And some of you have seen this, but I finally finished this is from a Tret Bosch demo. And it's a vase set. I carved, I turned, I burned, and I think that's it. So
that's plenty.
That's cool. That is cool. The tree looks like something from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, it was fun. Right now I'm working on, and I don't have it in here, but I'm working on the Wheel of Delicacy.
Oh.
I have it 3/4 done. So next meeting. But anyway, that's it. Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else?
He's next.
Anybody for show and tell?
Yeah, I have something if you got me.
Okay. Is this Mark?
Oh, okay. I'll wait till you pop it up.
Okay.
Wrong guy.
Wrong guy. Who is this?
Newberger.
Oh, Newberger. You sounded just like.
I got. Carlos had his hand up for a while.
Oh, I didn't know
Hello?
anybody. Okay, let's go to
Oh, hey.
Glenn. He's
Hi.
on-
Hi. Well, I don't know if this is a tips and tricks or show and tell or whatever, but I'll turn my camera around here. Sorry, I got an older iPad. The camera isn't as good as my iPhone, but I know for those who have Powermatics, nobody seems to know what to do with these cages, and I was looking for a way to hold my hood. So, instead of throwing this thing away, I figured, well, I will just cut that all off right there. And then that stays right in there, and I use zip ties to hold my hood onto my lathe. And if you decide you want to take your hood off, you just pull the pin. That'll slide right out. You can, if you want to, I use this hood about 90% of the time, so I really don't have much reason for removing it. But when I do, I can just pull it out, cut the zip ties, put another one on, and then switch it back out. But I just hated to throw that thing away, and I figured, well, let's try that. And the distance from here to here is more than from here to the waist. So got plenty of room for my turnings. Not have to
That's a
worry about
real
it.
cool idea. I like
That's
that.
genius, Glenn. Absolute genius.
Yeah. Wow. You can copyright that. Okay, Paul.
Okay. Gotta find the camera. There it is. I did a little offset turn, if I can get it to, I guess. And just horsing around, playing around with it, and I was hoping to get it to bend, but the next one will. And I did a couple of little bud vases too, so wherever they show up.
Oh, nice.
A couple out of cedar that was laying in the basement, but just never put them into the President's Challenge this time.
Okay. Anybody else?
I've got something. Dennis, did you have something? You're unmuted.
No. I'll mute
right.
myself.
So, Matt, you've got something?
Yeah, somebody will have to spotlight. I don't know if I can spotlight myself here. Maybe I
I'm
can.
working on it. There you go.
All right. Well, I this morning, during the rest of the meeting, I added a walnut cup to the top of my off-center thing. So there's that. I got some birch that's come down that I'm playing with and doing some color. It's got some interesting chatoyance in it now, so that's fun. So just a couple of things, small things.
Cool. Anybody else? I've got something, but I want to see if there's anybody else that's got anything to show. Okay, Matt, if you can spotlight me. Okay, so anyways, I got 3 things I wanted to show you. I've been spending a lot of time in the shop this last couple of weeks. And I think in previous meetings, I told you about a tree I got from a neighbor, maple and silver maple and stuff. And this is from one of the logs that came to me in 2018 from that neighbor. This is the bowl. And it's about 12 inches across, about 4 inches deep. It's just gorgeous. Spalted ambrosia maple. This log sat in my yard for a full winter before I got it into my shed. And I think that's what heavily spalted it. So it was a challenge. It was a real challenge with tear out and stuff. So I got a chance to learn some tool control and things like that. So this is going to be going on my website for sale. But few cracks in it, but they're small, and I sealed them, and they just kind of highlight it, like right there. So anyways, that's the one. Now, I'm almost ashamed to show this one after Cindy showed her segmented turning, but this is my first segmented turning. I actually started this a year ago, and it's a solid piece of red oak on the bottom, 3 layers of regular oak, and then I had a segmented ring of red oak on top. And when I got it all glued up, I put it in the lathe and I just started turning it and got a catch, and it just ripped everything right off the top of them. Pieces went flying and scared the life out of me, so I threw it on the shelf. And that was about a year ago. And about 3 weeks ago, I just happened to notice on the shelf, and I said, well, let's see. Let's go with a different approach. And I put it on the lathe and just took very light cuts, and this is what I ended up with. And I'm very happy with it. So that's all just dimensional wood that I got from Lowe's, oak and red oak. Finally, this is my pride and joy right now. As you guys know, I went to Hawaii in February, brought back some koa and some monkey pod. And this is monkey pod that I brought back. And this part here, if you notice in the back here, that's a branch that was coming out of the side of the log. So it really added, it looks almost like a comet. It really added a really cool dimension to it. And that's even more comet-like on this side. So that's one of my pieces of monkey pod from Hawaii. I got a couple more I'll be turning. And I got a big piece of koa. I just haven't really decided what I'm going to do with it. And I might wait until I get more familiar with the McNaughton system that I have on order and see if I can core out a piece and get 2 bowls out of it. But it's a really nice piece, and I just don't want to mess it up. So that's it for me in show and tell. Anybody else? Last call.
I have a question for you, Jeff.
Sure.
Did you finish that monkey pod with that axe?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And this is only, I did the normal with the wood turning paste, the sanding paste. And I just did the normal through that. And then I only did 1 coat of the polishing paste because I wanted more of a satin sheen. It's really glossy here because of the light, but in reality, it's kind of a satin sheen. Now I could do 2 or 3.
There's no poly or anything on that then?
There's no what?
No polyurethane or?
No, no.
That's a nice finish.
It is. It's a very nice finish. And if I did 2 or 3 coats, it would have been very glossy. But I really like the sheen of this and how it came out.
Did you put your finish on by hand, or was it on the lathe when you did that?
It was on the lathe. It's all, you put it on like a friction polish. And then you start out, the sanding paste and the polishing paste work the same way. The sanding paste takes a little longer, but you put it on, rub it on without the lathe turning, and then you start out at about 400 or 500 RPMs and let it work its way through till you feel the abrasiveness going away. Then you go to a clean cloth, you bring up the speed to, I'll bring it up at that point to about 750, and I'll do more work with it. And then when it's finished, when you don't feel any drag from it anymore, from the grit in it, then I take it up to about 1,000 with a clean cloth, and that puts a really nice finish on it. And then you follow it up with the polishing paste, basically the same way. Start at about 500, work your way up to 1,000. Just get it warm enough that it's kind of hot on your hand, and that just seals it in beautifully. Very easy.
The polishing paste, is that soft or is it hard like Carnauba wax?
It's like a white cream.
Actually, it's a brown cream. I know.
Oh yeah, the sand and paste is.
Yeah, the other, there it is.
No, the polishing paste.
Yeah, it's a white cream.
The polishing paste is white. It's just beeswax, mineral oil, and Carnauba wax.
Okay.
So,
I've been using that stuff for about a year since I started turning. I love that stuff. I do.
I really like it, and I especially love the price.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've been playing around with Hampshire Sheen, and it's just so doggone hard. I just can't get it to work.
You mean the paste, the polish?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to really dig in there and get some. And yeah, I really like this, and I'll continue using them as long as Tom's making it. So, and Tom's a great guy to work with. If you got questions and stuff, you can write him. He'll get back to you really quick. So, anything else?
Yeah, Jeff, I have a bowl that I want to show.
Oh, okay. You're highlighted.
Okay.
This was a punky piece of silver maple that was spalted. So I used the cactus juice on it, and when I turned it this week, it was like turning sawdust. I'd have my dust extractor on the whole time, but when it got done, you know, it really looks really nice on the inside and the outside. And the only finish that's on this is I sanded it to 400, you know, with power sanding. Then I took my BO buffing system and buffed it with the Triple E, the white diamond, and the carnauba wax on the outside. So that's the finish, and that's where the sheen comes from.
Now, after using the cactus juice, did you have any problems with tear out?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I did have a little bit, but when I presented the tool right, it went away.
Okay. And did you do that under vacuum, or did you just paint the juice on?
No, I did it under vacuum. I took
Okay.
one of my wife's pressure canners, and like Dennis did, I built the top out of plexiglass, getting the parts from Chefware kit, and I was able to make the vacuum pot, and it worked just great.
Awesome.
You know, you stick it in the number 10 can and weight it down and suck out the air bubbles.
Very good. It's a beautiful bowl.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Yeah. Great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, spalting's nice on it.
I like the form also.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is there anybody else? Last call. Okay, then.